Hello, my friends. This is Byron from the BJJ Break podcast. Today, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the COVID-19 virus and what it's doing to your jiu-jitsu and your gym, your team, all these things. So let's just talk about you as a student or a practitioner. Let's do that one first. You got to realize that the couch is not your friend. We say that a lot on the podcast. If your alternative from training is to go watch movies on the couch or watch Netflix, that's a bad idea. And when you do come back to jiu-jitsu, you're going to pay a price for that. You're not going to be the same person you were when this happened and your gym decided to go ahead and close the doors for a little while. You've got to do things to stay in shape, and you could really use this for an advantage and get in better shape. Jiu-jitsu is not billed as the best way to get in peak physical condition. I'm as guilty as the next guy. A lot of times I'll do jiu-jitsu and I'll be kind of lazy. I'll be able to get myself in positions where I could take a bit of a breather. I could take a slower roll with somebody, take a roll with somebody who's not real competitive, and it's a way for me to kind of just not work out as hard if I want to gauge that back. So things like lifting and of course a lot of weights gyms are closed, but if you've got anything at home where you can do some body weight exercises, if you have a kettlebell, that'd be great. Some things around the house. You can still go out and run and bike and walk and hike. These things are great activities to do. Find things to do to keep pushing yourself. And for me, I think running is going to be a big part of increasing my fitness level, because I'm not in the best cardiovascular shape, and so I'll be running a lot. I'll be doing some at-home weight exercises as well, and just find ways to possibly even increase what you're able to do physically while you're not on the mats. If you spend the same amount of time working out than you used to, this could be a big boost for you. And you could look back and say, hey, maybe once a year I'd take a month or two off and I get in really good shape and then I come back. The other thing is, and as far as all that goes, you could also work on your flexibility and in other aspects of yourself physically. You give yourself a chance to heal up. If you're a little banged up, which is a lot of us, you're going to feel great when this is over. Study. Jiu-jitsu is not how physically fit you are. This is a sport that is very technical based. Use this time to study a certain aspect of your game or a certain element that you need to work on. Maybe make your better part of the game even better. You could do stuff by studying online. I know BJJ Fanatics and several other online companies and online teaching programs are offering some free things that they usually would charge for. So it's a good opportunity to take this time and try to grow as far as yourself as a martial artist and the knowledge side of jiu-jitsu. Even just do whatever. You could do stuff on YouTube, you could study competition matches. There's really a great opportunity to do a little off the mat training as far as sharpening your head and what you're doing when you are on the mat. You could also train at home. So this is one that I think is a big opportunity for a lot of people, and I'm going to be able to utilize this. I'm fortunate enough, I get my wife to train once or twice a week. So with that, there's no reason we can't do some techniques at the house. I don't see us walling up a room and going full speed, but if I see some techniques and I'm doing my study, that's a great opportunity to, hey, come here, let me try this, and then you try it on me. If you have nobody at home that trains with you, this is a good opportunity to introduce them. Your spouse knows how jiu-jitsu is important for you, and if they've never done it or even thought about trying it, you could kind of sucker them in or trick them in as being a dummy for a move or two, and maybe you make it a move that's fairly easy, and they just wanted to, hey, let me try this, and then you try it. You get them in on it, and maybe by time this is all over, you end up going to jiu-jitsu with another person or two from your house. Anybody who lives in the same house is likely to catch it from each other anyway, so we're quarantining by houses, not by individuals and by individual rooms. So you're all in it together anyway. So that's what I have for you as a student. The great thing of jiu-jitsu is it's super fun and it's a great way to stay in shape. Tough times, guys, you're gonna have to find ways to stay in shape that may not be as fun, and use a little bit of that mental grit to get past that and do some exercises that aren't as enjoyable as jiu-jitsu, but you'll grow from it and you'll possibly come back in better shape. The team aspect of jiu-jitsu, this is going to be tricky because a big part of jiu-jitsu is social, and a big part of competitive things in jiu-jitsu is the team. And I'm really looking at individuals to take big steps up and to do what it takes to keep the team going. And it's going to just be a lot of thinking outside the box. If you're able to support your school financially, so you haven't had, maybe you haven't lost your job, you can still go to work, you have income coming in, or you're doing okay wise, it's great to still support your school even if they have their doors closed. And that's a big deal for each person that can do that for the coach is a big deal. They're going to be scraping by. Your coach might find a different job for a little while to help pay bills. This virus and this closing of schools, even temporarily, even if it's just a week or two, some schools won't reopen. And so as the weeks turn into months, go on to seasons, or however long this goes, it's going to be tougher for each school to survive this. So if you're able to support your school, you should do that. And whether it's just continuing to pay like you usually do, or maybe paying half, or talk to your coach, these things are going to make a difference for when this is over and we can go train, that you have a place to go train. Because you can't, as I'm kind of alluding that you could train a little bit at home with a spouse or some kids or whatever. Not the same. You know that as much as I do. You need a place to train with people who are also interested in and good at jiu-jitsu. If you don't help take care of that place in this time, it may not be there. So that's a big deal. A lot of people feel like we go into jiu-jitsu and our coach has our back. And that's a great feeling that they're going to support us. They're going to give us advice. So a lot of coaches help people off the mat as well, as people get into tough spots in life. Now's the time to have your coaches back, because they've done what they could up until this point to have a great place for you to train. And beyond any part of their control, the doors are closed for safety. And you should have your coaches back if you can. That's a big thing. Teams, look for stuff to do. You might organize, hey, today on Friday, it's run day. And everybody, run and use an app on your phone, and we'll share pictures of how our runs went, that sort of thing. Kind of just build a little bit of that team stuff. Try to keep that going through some sort of digital way. Maybe you have little meetings and that sort of thing, or you share small victories. Maybe you're at home and you're actually, now you're running, from not being able to run a mile, now you can run a few and you've lost some weight. Post that and share that and work with the team as far as encouraging them to continue to train. You're the same thing as before. When this is all over, if you don't support your school, it may not be there, but I know for sure a lot of students just aren't going to come back. It's out of their routine. It's just something that's gone. So support your team. And we're very fortunate this time, this day and age, that we could do that online and we could do it very safely. So the team is a big aspect, and you don't have to be a black belt or a brown belt. You can be a white belt to really be a good team member and step up at this time with what you're doing. So do what you can. And I think every gym is going to be a little different in how they do this, but it's a big part to support the team. So coaches, we've talked about the students, we talked about the team. Coaches, you need to communicate with your student base. This isn't the time to send out one email or one mass text message, hey, we're going to be closed for X amount of time, and then you're done. That's a bad idea. You need to be in contact with your students as much as you would normally see your students. So if you see the average student every other day, that's probably what you should be doing. You should be sending out some sort of a message online, or maybe a video instruction about I want you doing, these push-ups, these sit-ups, and these stretches. I'm going to do them with you here. Here's a video. However you want to do it, you have to be communicating with your students. Out of sight is out of mind, and you're going to lose a lot of business if you're not continuing to treat them as customers, and you'll lose that business it's nice if they could feel like, yeah, I'm a supporting coach. I'm going to continue to pay as much as I can to my monthly dues or whatever. If they feel like they're not getting anything out of that, it becomes a little harder, and you become one of the things that becomes very expendable on their budget. So online content, finding ways to continue to provide value to your students is a big one. Another thing you could do is just housekeeping. Maybe you need to paint some walls or fix a sink or do something around the gym that you really didn't want to do while it was up and operational. So if you could do that, and it doesn't have to be physical. You could do housekeeping on your website and update it and get it up and running a little bit more smoothly. Maybe your scheduling software or maybe your billing software needs to be updated, and you're just too busy teaching all the time. And there's a lot that these coaches do that you guys do. So any stuff that you could do to make your school better that doesn't need the students there, this is the time. You could take advantage of this time and really pick it up and have a great, progress in some areas. And this stuff, like if you paint the walls and it looks great, that's something that you want to share with the team. Hey guys, when you come back, this is going to be a new thing. Another thing you could do is write a article or profile maybe a student at the gym and how jiu-jitsu has helped them. Call them up and do a little interview with your student. Put that on your webpage. Just little things to make a big difference. Because imagine if you see one of your team members, it's in high school, the coach writes a profile on them, and you learn that, hey, man, they really struggled at school, and now they got their act together. That's a real big boost for the team category, not just for that one person. It's like, I want to go back and congratulate that young gal or guy of all their hard work they had done up until this point when the virus hit. Anyway, there's a lot of things we could do. You just can't ignore your students. You've got to continue to take care of them, and you could also use this time that the school's empty to do things you normally couldn't do. That's what I've got for you guys. If we do this right, we'll come back and we'll be strong as a jiu-jitsu community. If we do it wrong, I think a lot of people will just kind of be gone, and they'll fill this time that they would train with other things. And you can't blame them. Maybe some of them start hiking because it's fun and that's what they do instead. That's fine. But we really want to encourage fitness while they're gone, and then remind everybody of how fun this is and the good times that we have on the mats. And I think that will draw us back in very close to numbers that they were. And if you're getting any calls about people being interested in training and haven't started yet, you need to build kind of a list of that and include them in on the team so they get a little bit of that community feeling before they even get there. That might be a good way to kind of keep them on ice, because if I call, hey, I want to train jiu-jitsu, actually there's a virus going around, maybe you can't train jiu-jitsu right now. But we're looking to open it up in this amount of time. Go ahead and join our team Facebook page and interact with us there, and we'll do some stretching every couple of days and some online fitness programs as well. Something like that would be a good way to maybe even draw in some business while you're away. I don't know. I'm interested to see your guys' comments. I'm going to post this both as just audio on the podcast and also on a video format on YouTube or Facebook. So anyway, this is an interesting time to be a jiu-jitsu person. Any gyms that haven't closed by now, and this is March 17th, I don't know what you're doing. Restaurants and stuff are closing, and it's just like any amount of this many people in a building. But the whole thing that jiu-jitsu is being super close to somebody and choking them, and it's just a bad thing to spread viruses and bacteria, and maybe we'll do pretty good knock on staph infections and ringworms community-wide as this goes through, as we get people healed up and come back a little cleaner in the long run. Anyway, I wouldn't want to be the last gym in my community or state to say, you know what, it's time to finally close the doors. So don't be those. Hopefully that won't happen. And people, it's not a decision we can make with much education, because just like me, most people out there don't have much in background with biology or pandemics and that sort of thing. So we really need to just trust in the systems and what they're saying we should do, and go into a room with even 10 people and hugging, basically wrestling for 45 minutes to an hour and a half and working out hard, that's a bad environment. So I'll go on a little bit of a rant here. I hope this has been helpful. I am look for your comments down below, and if you think this will be helpful to somebody else, please share it. And stay active, guys. You got to stay sweaty so you get on the mats and be possibly doing even better than when you left.